Today on In the Wood Yard, I've got some new moisture meters. Let's test them out. Let's test the testers. Here we go. So I got these two moisture meters probably a month, maybe 2 months ago, and I just kind of forgot about them. I had them in a pile, and then they sent me a message from the company, Erickhill, hey, where's the video? Because a lot of companies send me stuff and they want me to try it out, and I have not done it because I've been busy doing other stuff. But today is the day. We're going to open these up and see how they work. So this meter here, from what I can see on the box, has pins, and this one has all kinds of different settings that you can use. It's an environmental meter, so I don't know what that means. This one is a moisture meter, which I know what that means. So this one might be the one that I use. I don't know. This one does also say moisture meter on it, so it's apparently an environmental moisture meter. This one has different settings for different kinds of wood, and from what I can tell, it looks like it is pinless. So let's open them up and see what they say. So I opened up the one that has the pins, and it has batteries included with it. Also included, there's a little wrench and some spare prongs or pins for testing the wood, so that's kind of nice. There is also a manual, which I don't know how to read, so that's going to be a problem. There are the prongs. It's got a nice case. I think this probably snaps. No, it doesn't go on the bottom. One of my other meters, you can snap this on the bottom so you don't lose this, but that doesn't happen. And let's see how this baby opens up. Looks like just like that. We will put the batteries in and we'll start poking some wood and see what we can figure out. All right, so I have the batteries in. You can see they go right in this case here. I do like this, the fact that they take AAAs. A lot of the other moisture meters take 9 volts. And it's nice because I use a lot of AAAs, so I have those available all the time. So that's a good thing because I don't normally have 9 volts. So that I like. First thing is right here is how you turn it on. And that's pretty cool. It has the temperature and the relative humidity. Let's see, it's got a Celsius Fahrenheit. Look at that. It says it's 70 degrees Fahrenheit. That is not accurate. Right now it's about 45 degrees out. So don't know where they came up with that. So I don't know, maybe it's because the sun is hitting it and it's that warm. But that is not the air temperature. So my first instinct is it's on. I'm gonna poke it into some wood. Let's see what happens here. I'll go back here and try this. Stick it in there. Nothing happens. Let's go maximum and see what happens if I do this. Nothing. Nothing at all. Still nothing. All right. You know what time that is? It's this time. Okay, so I read the instructions, figured it out. Basically, you have to select minimum or maximum reading, the high, low, and then you stick the prongs in and test the wood. It tells you the humidity or the moisture of it. And pretty simple. I do like the prongs, and yes, I know a lot of you are saying, oh, you can't test the end of the wood, you have to split it open. I'm just seeing if the meter actually registers and works here. We will take a piece and split it open in just a minute here, but for now, let's just stick this in here and see what it says. On the end here, it says 20.3, and that is a piece of red oak. Find a piece that's in the shade right here. Shove this in. This is a piece of red oak also, 22.8. 20. All right. Let's take this over. See if I can get through the muck here. And we're going to take it over and we're going to plug it into some split hard maple over here. Everything is just soupy out here in the wood yard right now. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see the pudding out there. I'm afraid to drive anywhere right now. It's so bad. But we're going to come over here to this pile, and I'm just going to crawl up in here and test a couple different pieces. Here is a chunk of ironwood. Let's see what she says. It says 20. Let's try this piece of hard maple right here. Survey says 19. Now, it did say it has an accuracy plus or minus a 2%. Let's see if we can get this to go maximum now and see what that does. See if that makes a difference. 19% is what she says. Okay, so let's go high and see what that does. Oh, here we go. 20%. Huh. Funny, this is testing very high. I've tested all this wood with my other moisture meters over the last 4 or 5 months, and all of this has tested 16, 17, maybe 18%. So this meter is testing everything high. So I don't know if that's good or bad. Now, for those of you that wonder about this meter and my other meters that I have probably 7, 8 different meters, 9, maybe 10, a bunch. People just keep sending them to me. I've bought a couple of them myself. My favorite one is one that I bought for about 50 bucks. It's SBI, works great. It's very simple to operate. It seems to be accurate all the time. When I compare it with all the other meters, it seems to be right in the middle. I have meters that will register really low, and I have meters that will register really high. What I mean by really is they can range anywhere from, say, one meter will read 18%, another meter will read 17% or 16%, another one will read 15%. So there's a range of about 2%, maybe 3% on all the meters that I've ever used. So they're all within a certain amount, which is why it's kind of nice to have a couple different meters to kind of check them out against each other. And the way they work, basically, they measure the amount of moisture, the resistance traveling between the prongs. That's how the pin ones work anyway. And the more moisture there is, the easier it is for electricity flow, the higher the number. The lower moisture there is, the harder it is for the electricity to flow between, and you get a lower number. That's pretty simple. Now, these things are not, I don't know, what's the word? They're not super expensive. They're not super technical. They all work. I've got one that has an on-off switch. That's it. You poke it into the wood, it gives you a number. And it's as accurate as any of the other ones. This one has more toys in it, obviously. You can test more different kinds of wood and program it for different things. I'm just selling firewood. If I'm within a couple degrees, whatever. Mainly when I check wood, I'm checking it after I had cut and split it, and I want to just see where it's at right away. So if I know if it's super high, like oak would be in the high 30s, low 40s even percent, and then if I check it, 2 months later, it could drop 10%. If I check it 6 months later, it could drop another 5%. Check it a year later, it might drop another 5%, because oak dries slow. Other wood, like ironwood, hard maple, soft maple, cherry, birch, all that kind of stuff dries very fast. 6 months and it's dry. So some people are saying, oh, you don't need a moisture meter. You just know how long to have your wood is cut. Well, that would be all well and fine if you only had one pile or a couple piles. But I have many piles, and we do wood year round. And I kind of remember when I'm processing it, how long it's been. So I kind of have an idea what it's going to be. Because I process so much wood and we check it so often, I kind of have an idea what it's going to be. There are some people that don't care at all about moisture testing. They just cut their wood 2 years in advance. And that's all they do, because they know it's going to be dry in 2 years. Some people go 3 years. Some people go 1 year. Some people just know because of their drying conditions. They're out in the sun and open like we are here. Most wood, 6 months, it's ready to burn. Even if it's cut from green wood. Now, a lot of the wood we're getting is from dead trees, especially the ash, some of the elm, some of the other wood that we get. It is already partially dry when we get it. There are some kinds of wood that dry really fast, some that dry really slow. Oak is very slow, hickory is very slow. Everything else is medium, and then there's some stuff that just dries real fast. The lower grade woods like box elder, soft maple, stuff like that dries super fast, especially if you get it out in the open. So let's go test that other meter now. So here I shoved the prongs into the end of this piece of oak, and it is reading 21.2. Now these are all logs that I got a few months ago now. It was all cut from dead, standing, barkless, and this is red oak, dries very slow. This stuff needs to get processed as soon as possible so it can be dry for next year. Some of this is going to be dry enough right away because there's a lot of wood in here that is like this right here. I can just tell by looking at it. It's cracked through pretty well. Let's just see what it says here at the end. It says 22%. So let's just see if there's any other ones that look dry that are in here. Let's just see. Let's try this one right here. It says just under 20, so 19.8. I don't know if you guys can see that, 19.8. And again, this isn't perfect. The ideal way to do this is to split it open and check the inside. This oak will be high because oak is very, very wet, holds moisture for a very long time. So here is the prong version of the meter, and what I did is I put it into this little black velvet bag. I'm putting the prongs in with it. The manual is in there, the meter is in there, so very nice. I like this. This can sit right in my truck, and I can have this whenever I need it. And I just opened up the prongless one. It's got a different bag, a little shiny bag. Look at that. And this is kind of odd. I mean, I've never seen one like this. This is the sensor back here. So it gives you your references for green wood, midwood, and wet wood. Green, I guess green is the color, but it's for dry wood, then midwood, and then wet wood. You can test walls, masonry, softwood, hardwood. So you got all kinds of different settings right on here, which is nice having this on here. This also has 3 AAAs. Very nice. And you turn it on like this, and then it comes on. And then when it's on, we can go up against wood and test it. So let's see what happens. Okay, so you've got modes you can go through here for testing. I'm just gonna give this a poke here. I don't know what this is doing. We're gonna go to density. Oh no, I messed it up now. I hate stuff that you have 20 different controls to set everything. I like to turn it on and use it. All this stuff with programming is not fun, I'm just saying. But I will figure it out. So we're gonna turn it on again. It is on hardwood. You can't see it on the camera because I can barely see it out in the sun here. And then I will see dense, I don't know what that does. Set, don't know what that does. I'm gonna turn this off again because it's just freaking out again. I got all these buttons to push here. Let's just turn it on. It's back onto hardwood. About ready to smash it. You no good for nothing blankety blank. Turn it off again. Turn it on again. Okay. Oh, there we go. Put it right up against it there. It looks like it's, I don't know, didn't like it. It freaked out there. High 14% it says. Well, I tested it with the other meter and it said 22%. So they're way off apparently. Or maybe this needs to be right up against it. Oh, no, it says 30-some%. I don't know, it's all over the place. Try this again over here. Try a different piece of wood. Here it says, goes from 17 to 35 depending on how close I hold it. It just keeps flashing like it won't register. I got to get it into the shade so I can see it here because the screen is not very bright. It's very, very dim. It's hard for me to see. I don't know. Let's just try it like this. Yeah, it just goes all over the place. So apparently it's wet. It's wet wood, which I know. Let's try it on some dry wood and see what happens. Okay, I came over to this pile of wood. This is wood I got from my dad. This is wood my brothers and I cut about 5 years ago. So we'll see what it says. Now right up against it, it says 8%. So apparently that wood is dry. And we'll try this one right here. Let's try a different one. This one says 19%. Same wood, same pile, cut at the same time. So I don't know. I don't know what that means. Let's see what this one says. This one says 18.5. Let's check out one down inside the pile here. Let's try this one on the end here. That one says 20%. And like I said, this wood is 6 years old. Yes, it's been sitting outside for a very long time. It was covered for a while. Let's try this one here. We'll roll this over. Try the inside here. This one says Not quite 8%. Let's try it on the end and see what it says. It says it won't register. Oh, it just freaks out. It goes all the way to the top. So how the heck do you know what it is? Obviously, I need to read the instructions possibly. Here it says it's about 8%. Okay, let's try a chunk of locust over here. This stuff here is about a year old. And it was cut from dead standing wood. So let's see what this one up in the sun says. It says it is 8%. Now when I tested this, same wood with my pronged meters, some of my other ones, not this brand, this stuff right here was 16 and 17%. And I tested it with 4 or 5 different brands. So this one is like way different. There, now it says 13%. I moved it to a new spot. Moved it down here, it says 10%. So how the heck do you know which one is right? That's what I wonder. On the end here it says 27%, and I know it's not 27%. I split it open and it's dry inside. All right, let's try another one over here. So far, it's confusing. That's all I got to say. This one here, it says 15%. Now, this I believe, because that's what all the other meters read. 15, 16, 17%. Here's a piece of dry barkless red oak. Let's see what this one says. 18%. On this side it says almost 15%. So sometimes it registers what the wood is according to the other meter. Sometimes it goes real high, sometimes it goes real low. So I don't know, I guess I wouldn't trust this a whole lot unless I figure out how to use it better. Let's try this piece of dry oak right here. 11% it says. Huh. Who knows? Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. Let's try it here. On the end, see, when I go to the end now, maybe you're not supposed to go to the end. It goes to 30%, 31%, 32, 34. So real high. Let's try this one over here. This one here says 6.5%. Let's try this side over here. It says 18%. So one side is 6%, the other one is 18%. Which one is right? I'm guessing the 18%. Let's try this chunk of cherry here. 20%. Now that I believe, because this has not been split open yet. This is over a year old, but it wouldn't surprise me that that's 20% because it's not been split. So that doesn't surprise me. Let's go try some other wood. Okay, these two piles right here were just run on the processor less than, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago. So this is a piece of ash, and it says 18.4%. Here's another piece, it says 24%. Let's test this one over here. This one says 21%. Let's find a different kind of wood in here. See if I can find something that's not ash. This is all ash. Here's a piece of popple or aspen. Let's just test this and see what it says. It says 35%, 29%, and I would believe that this stuff was real wet when we split it. And it says 18, 17% there. This is also a piece of aspen right here. 20%. So maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Hard to say. Let's try the end of this one right here. It just pegs it. Anything on the end, it goes super high, I've noticed. It must not be able to read the end. Maybe I should read the instructions. That might help. Here it says 16%. Now that I believe, because this ash was cut last summer, so it's pretty dry. Let's try this one right here. It says no bark on it. Here it says about 14%. This one here says 8. I don't believe that. 8%. Let's test this one here. It says 21%. And there it says 11%. From there to there, the difference made. Jeez. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. It's all over the place. It's not consistent. So I guess it'd be good to compare this to some other ones testing the same spots, but this just seems to be all over the place. So I don't know. Okay, so what I've been able to find is that you cannot test the ends because it doesn't work. It goes real fast from low number to pegging it to where it won't register. And it goes all the way up to 56%, which I know this was not 56%, but it goes to where it won't even read it. So if I take this punky section right here on the side and I look at it, it says it's 6%, which I know is not right. Take another piece of wood over here and it goes to 18%. Now that I would kind of believe it's got to be somewhere in that range. Let's test another one. So obviously checking the side of the wood, the long way in the grain, it's 10%, 11%. Don't believe that. Here it says 14%. This one says 25%. Now that I would believe it's a thicker piece, and because it's not split yet, from my experience, I would believe that this is in the mid-20s because it's not split open yet. Let's go test some of this wood over here. This stuff over here was cut, I don't know, like 3-4 months ago now. None of it's been processed yet, so let's just test the end here. Here's a piece of box elder. Says it is 19.7. Here's a piece of soft maple. 34. No, okay, it's not soft maple. This is, yeah, I think for a second. Cottonwood. I think this is cottonwood, looking at it. 30%. That doesn't surprise me. Here's a piece of aspen. It won't even register. It just pegs it. So it's obviously very wet. Yeah, it won't do it. Here's a piece of elm right here. And it says 17%, 18%. So that I would believe. Let's find a different kind of wood. Here's a piece of box elder. It says 19%. I guess I would believe that. Let's see what else we can find in here. Something different. There's another piece of aspen right here. And that just pegs. That won't even register. Another piece of aspen right here. Don't register. Nothing. Let's test this big boy right here. This is a big chunk of box elder. 23%. That I would believe. It's pretty wet. Let's test this one right here. 23%. Let's come down this way and see what else I can find in here. There's got to be some different stuff in here. I see a lot of the same thing. I'm trying to find a piece of hard maple and soft maple because I did see some in here at one time. Of course, here's a piece of box elder, 23%. Now that makes sense. Go to the end grain. Yeah, it just pegs. It won't register. There's a piece of elm right here again. 16%. I don't know. It just seems awful low for wood that's that big that hasn't been split yet. There's another piece of elm right here. Yeah, it's not registering the elm very well. Maybe I got it set wrong. I don't know. Who knows? Let's try this piece of, here's a piece of pine down here. Actually, it's spruce is what it is. 20%. That I would believe. Here's another one right here. And it says 22%. That I would believe. So maybe I have it set on I got it on hardwood though. I have it on the hardwood setting. Let's see if I go. I got it on softwood now. So let's see what it says. Softwood, 29%. So obviously it makes a difference. This is softwood and I have it set on softwood. And this one here, it says it's 15%. There it goes up to 20. So from there, it's 20%. Over here, 28%. I don't know. It's all over the place. Okay, so here's the 2 meters. This is the one that is prongless, that tests through the sensor in the back, I guess, sort of, kind of. Not impressed with it. I probably don't know what I'm doing with it, but it's confusing. It seems to be all over the place. I prefer the pronged version, much so that you stick it in, you test it. You know where you're at in the wood. And obviously the way to do it is to split the piece open and test the inside. I do like the batteries that this has with the AAAs instead of the 9 volts. This one seems to work better. So this is the one I will grab for all the time. I might find a new home for this one and see if there's someone that wants it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll try it again and talk to someone. I do know a couple people that have these, and they said the same thing. It was all over the place. They said it was hard to operate, so I'm not sold on it. This works great though.